Good morning, Western Victoria, and welcome to the morning show on this Thursday, the 3rd of May. And now, here's your host, Fred Farger.
Etc., etc. She's always an interesting lady. She's with us this morning, but we're starting off the morning. You'll be aware of this movie, being in the area, Territory Adventures. The promotions have been on air, and I couldn't let the opportunity go by without getting somebody in, and I cracked the jackpot. Gemma is the husband, of Helmut comer, and Helmut and Gemma together were the instigators behind the movie. But also we have the second unit cameraman. Is that all right? Am I allowed to call you the second unit cameraman? Yes. All right. Gary Dunkley also joins us this morning. Gary did some of the camera work as well. What a trip!
It certainly was. It was magic.
When are you going again?
As soon as we can.
And can I come too?
Definitely.
I'd love to do it.
Yes,
it would be absolutely magic. Now, to start off, you've gone into areas this time where I know there have been movies like this, in this vein, seeing areas of Australia that people possibly don't get the opportunity to go and travel to. But this one's really special because you've got into areas, Gemma, that no one's ever been able to before because of the mode of transport you used.
That's right. We actually went in with a hovercraft. Now, if anybody's ever been on a hovercraft, experienced a hovercraft, then you'd know what it's like. It's just an absolute magic machine.
Is it? Yeah. I never have. I've never been on one. It's as smooth as smooth.
Expo and had a
I never got to Expo, no.
Oh, right. Well, it's just a magic machine, and we really bought it to go to the remote areas. Yeah. We'd sort of gone in with the vehicles, boat, but we'd never, ever been able to get into certain areas.
Look at this. I mean, the footy is wonderful just there, tearing across the... They're like lily pads, etc., are they, that
That's
you're
right.
tearing across there? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely superb. What sort of speed are you travelling there, Gary?
In that situation, you'd be travelling about 70 kilometres an hour.
Right. Oh, the famous dogs. Oh, good heavens. And they loved every minute, of course, obviously.
Oh, yes. Well, they don't like the city at all. They love the...
Dogs get up to a bit of mischief from time to time.
Along with the owners.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful photography.
Fairly large floodplains and billabong areas.
Yeah.
All which are inaccessible by any normal means of transport.
Yeah, right, understand that. This does upset me a little bit. I can't quite cope with crocs. They're sort of a bit of prehistoric reptilian. Oh, look at that. Look at it. The power.
We believe that these larger crocodiles had taken a cow or bullock of some size down overnight, and this was the remains of the beast being taken by the large crocodiles.
Right.
Actually, Fred, I'd like to mention we went to great risk to get just that crocodile footage.
I understand.
We went in just with the hovercraft, and we just filmed from a hideout for days trying to get this footage, and it's just brilliant. I mean, as far as we know, it's never been filmed in the wild before.
Right.
And we're very lucky. We've got some very good camera lenses, and we were able to get the footage right up close. But believe me, it was very, very frightening at times because being only the three of us there, it was very hard to rely on, something went wrong, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
And there's no one to get you out. Absolutely nobody. You really go in at a great risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course we're very pleased because we did get the footage and it was worthwhile, and we got out.
Yes.
But how we got out, honestly.
Looking back, yeah. It's funny, isn't it? That's human nature, because when you're in a situation like that, any tight situation, it doesn't seem... At the time, I mean, you may think, gee, this is a bit dangerous, but it's in retrospect you think, gosh, how stupid we were to be in that. I mean, why did we do that?
We do have a lot of people ask us now, how did we get these type of shots from the hovercraft? In a lot of situations, particularly with the hovercraft, we had to set myself out in the middle of a floodplain perched on a tree to actually get some of the shots of Harold and Gemma on the hovercraft. Right. And at times we also let them, they travelled out into the middle of the floodplains by themselves with remote controlled cameras on the actual front of the hovercraft, and were able to set the release off as they were travelling along to film themselves travelling through some of the very tree areas. Could have been anything up to a kilometre in the middle of a floodplain, where there's absolutely no access except by the use of the hovercraft itself. So if anything had actually happened in there, we had radios on board the hovercraft which they could have told me they were in trouble, but then we would have probably had to get radio information back to the nearest place, which was Darwin at that particular time and get a helicopter out to sort of try and get them out, or because there was no way that we're talking 3 feet of water for kilometres and kilometres of just floodplain. So it was fairly hairy, but you only think about that after you've actually come out.
Absolutely right.
And people are asking us now, and you say, yes, I suppose it was a bit silly, but at the time. You're sort of just forced, we want this footage, go for it.
That's any good cameraman that I've ever met in television and film, in either medium, has always been the same. Oh, yeah, we didn't think about it. We just want the footage. So
but you get engulfed, I think, by the beauty of it all too. You see these areas and it just takes you in and you say, I must go there. We must take these. We've got to get into the middle of it because that's where it's really beautiful. Because nobody gets out there. The grass covering on top of the water is just unbelievable,
What time of year were you there? After the rainy season, I take it?
After the wet.
Just after the wet.
The
Straight
wet, that's
after
what they call the wet, yes. Yeah.
It's only really the wet and the dry. If you're there in the dry, that's exactly what it is, dead dry. But it was just after the wet and the planes were just starting to run off into the billabongs, and this is where the situation where the big crocodiles, for instance, had all banked up in this particular billabong that was left, and there was at least 50 crocodiles in the one billabong, and 2 which were in excess of 18 feet in length, which were the 2 on the actual film that we see fighting.
Gee whiz. So they're very territorial, obviously.
Oh, very. Well, we presume that this was territorial fighting.
Yes.
There was small ones around which we sort of thought may have been females.
What
and
was it, mating season or?
Well, I don't know. We didn't sort of
We
know.
presume.
Just by the antics that were carrying on, it seemed very much like 2 big males fighting over who gets who.
Yeah, right.
We didn't sort of check.
Well, Helmut told me that horrendous story about how they held you out over the edge of a boat on a stick to make the crocodiles leap. And things like, I mean, that was very brave of you, Gary.
Yeah, well, I was paid a lot of money to do that.
You lying hound.
We have heard him screaming sometimes at night.
I came face to face at one stage with a large, one of the real big ones, and I started yelling out to Harold and Gemma to come, and all the boss could sort of say was, what's he screaming about now? And later on he caught up with me and said, oh, you better be careful, Gary, there's an enormous crocodile slide. And I said, look, don't worry about the crocodile slide. I was trying to tell you that I saw the crocodile that actually made it.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, gee. And it was
superb.
enormous, When you see it face to face from, from not much further from me to you, it's really scary. And the hair on the back of my neck, I can tell you, stood quite...
You're talking about the exciting stuff, but there must be some beautiful footage too. I mean, in the brochure that I've got, that shot, that sunset shot, there it is absolutely glorious.
Yes, we went to a lot of trouble to get some beautiful footage, and it took us a long time to make the film.
Yeah.
And we actually specialised on getting crisp, sharp footage, which we've achieved, and in a lot of remote areas.
Lovely stuff. The dogs loved it too, obviously. Had
The
a great
fishing,
time.
do you like fishing?
Yes.
Well,
Just
if you're
magic.
a fisherman, you must see this because it'll make you cry.
How superb. Just wonderful. Now, you're touring with it all the way across our viewing area. I mean, there's about 30 or 40 towns you're going to, just having a look at that list, all of which are right smack bang in our viewing area. So don't miss out on this one. I know that there have been other movies, and I can remember one in particular that some people here in Ballarat went and saw, and they said, oh, the projector broke down, it was terrible. This isn't the case, all right? This really is top stuff. I mean, top stuff. Territory Adventures. Look, let me know when you're going next time, will you? I'll take 3 months sick leave or something. I'd love to do
more.
it. Will I? I'll need.
You'll need
all right. Territory Adventures. It's coming to a town near you. Thoroughly recommended. You've seen a little bit of the footage there. You can see the quality, and that's only a small amount of it. So get stuck into it. Go along and have a look at it, and just see how brave these lovely people were about going out to shoot it and giving you the opportunity to perhaps see an area of Australia you may never get the chance to, because we don't all own a hovercraft and can't quite get to these inaccessible areas. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you
Loads of
very
luck
much.
with it on the tour. Western Victoria is a beaut part of Australia. I
It
think
certainly is.
pretty area,
Yeah,
It certainly is. And we're really enjoying it here.
Good, Gemma.
Lovely, really.
Good.
And we are going back to a lot of areas because the people in the towns are demanding to have it back.
Yeah,
We can't
right. Oh, that's
accommodate
good,
them.
that's
so
good. Righto.
we are coming back
All right, good
to a
stuff.
lot of places. Portland, Colac, and
All right.
through the
Well,
whole
get in
district.
early. Go and have a look, because if you love it as much as I think you will, you'll want to go back anyway. Thanks again.
Thank you very
indeed.
much.
Okay. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and talk to Diamondopoly.